In this lesson, we're going to discuss the 4 different types of risk response that you can use based on the risk you have identified. Risk assessment is a critical process for identifying and addressing risks associated with cloud computing. The process involves analyzing potential threats and vulnerabilities to the organization's data, systems, and operations. Once risks are identified, the next step is a risk response. There are several possible responses to the result of a risk assessment, including risk mitigation, avoidance, acceptance, and transfer. So let's take a look at the importance of risk response in cloud computing by considering each of these 4 risk responses. First, we have risk mitigation. Risk mitigation is the process of taking reasonable precautions to prevent a particular risk. While it is impossible to completely eliminate risk, it can be managed and minimized through the proper risk mitigation strategies. Organizations should prepare for risk and take steps to lessen their effects. Risk mitigation is sometimes known as risk reduction as well. For example, risk mitigation might include encrypting internet connectivity between a business and its cloud service provider, minimizing the chances of data breach. Second, we have risk avoidance. Another facet of risk management is avoidance, which seeks to keep the business out of a position to be affected by a given risk. The risk assessment may identify risks that are unacceptable and too expensive to attempt to mitigate. For example, an organization may have highly sensitive research and development data that should not be stored on a public cloud data center. The risk assessment may determine that it is more cost-effective and more secure to retain that specific data on-premise. In this way, the organization has avoided the risk of sensitive data being stored on the same systems as other organizations. Third, we have risk acceptance. Risk acceptance means to take no action to mitigate a risk. The risk assessment has shown a low probability or a low impact, or both, of the risk occurrence. The business has therefore determined that resources should be used elsewhere. For example, an organization may identify a particular natural disaster that can destroy a data center, but may decide that the likelihood of the disaster occurring is so unlikely that it just isn't worth addressing. Fourth, we have risk transfer. It is also possible to transfer risk to another organization. The most common example of risk transfer is insurance. Your organization might insure the data center against fire, transferring the risk to the insurance company. The insurance company may require that the organization take some mitigation steps before transferring the risk. Transferring risk is a useful strategy when businesses are unable to mitigate the risk associated with the cloud computing. So in conclusion, risk response is a crucial aspect of cloud computing that businesses must consider to ensure the security, compliance, and efficiency of their cloud deployments. Risk mitigation, avoidance, acceptance, and transfer are potential responses to the result of a risk assessment. Each response is appropriate for different risks and situations. Proper risk response strategies must be in place to manage the risks associated with cloud computing effectively. By properly addressing these risks, businesses can leverage the benefits of cloud computing while maintaining security and compliance of their data and resources. It is essential to regularly conduct risk assessments and review risk response strategies to ensure that they align with the current state, cloud computing technology, and its regulations.